Mm-hmm.
So I am here with Vanessa Zahorian, who is a principal dancer with San Francisco Ballet.
Mm-hmm.
And she has
Hello.
hello, and she has guested for MCB a couple years ago, and we are so happy that she agreed to talk with us today. So Vanessa, could you tell us a little bit about your background and career as a dancer?
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be a part of this. And so, yeah, I actually started ballet at Central Pennsylvania Youth Ballet when I was 5, and I was there until 13. So at 13, and it's a very American ballet school. I got such great technique from Marcia Dale Weary, her school. I loved it. It was great. And so at the age of 13, decided that I wanted to get a different kind of training. So I went to the Kirov Academy of Ballet in Washington, D.C. with a very Vaganova Russian training method. And I was there for 3 years. Then I got the opportunity to go to Russia when I was 16, and with full scholarship by the Prince of Monaco, I was selected as the only American actually at the time to go, and I was an apprentice with the Kirov Ballet. Great opportunity and experience, and very thankful for that. I think that the combination of the American training and the Russian has really shaped who I am today. And, I think that classical ballet, is very Vaganova Russian training. And I've done a lot of full length ballets like Giselle and Swan Lake. And that Vaganova training has helped me tremendously with Marcia's training as well, because you need to be a strong dancer.
Yeah,
So,
excellent.
mm-hmm.
So,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that was my early
early
training years.
training,
Sorry,
yes.
and so that was my school training, and then I went to a cattle call audition for San Francisco Ballet, and was selected to become a member of the Corps de Ballet, and I was very thrilled because going from an apprenticeship into the company where you really are feeling like a part of it, I, I was, wanting to have that and was so thankful. So I have been here for 20 years and I'm a principal now, and I moved up pretty quickly in the ranks. 5 years later, I was a principal, and I was corps de ballet, then soloist and principal. Very thankful for every step of the way that I took. Being in the corps was very special for me, and having that camaraderie with everybody, and that feeling like a group together and dancing as one, and then moving on to soloist was very exciting, and then principal. So getting the opportunities to dance the leading roles has been challenging and fun.
Yeah,
Very good experience. So,
fantastic.
mm-hmm.
So on March 17th and 18th, Mid Columbia Ballet will be performing our spring performance. And as part of the spring performance, we will be doing Act 2 of Swan Lake.
Mm-hmm.
So could you tell us about the first time you performed Swan Lake?
Yes. So it was back in 2009 when I was first given the opportunity to perform this full length ballet. Swan Lake is one of my favorite classical ballets. It's just so pure, clean, white,
Yeah.
exquisite, and it's also very challenging. So for me, I knew technically that it would be okay, but as far as being a swan and taking on that role and interpretation, I needed to research for myself. So I took it upon myself to go and work with some of my former coaches in Washington, D.C. So I was coached by Ludmila Morkovina and Rudolf Karatian. I just needed them to go back to my roots of the pure Russian training and give me some advice and some, and literally it wasn't anything really extreme except them just tuning into an internal feeling of becoming the role, the creature, the bird, the swan, the so how would you feel if you were this delicate, just very pure the second act is very delicate and pure, and it's like the camaraderie of your swans and your togetherness and the pool and the lake and your reflection, and then when you see somebody who's amongst your territory and you're like, who is this? You're afraid. How would you feel? And so really diving into the emotional side of it was more challenging for me, because to connect the arms, and the arm movement is very difficult, to be soft but yet strong and technical on the bottom. So on the top to be very soft, and your arms just always flowing and never like being jerky or sharp. So this was a challenge for me, and I also explored the gyrotonics, which it's like Pilates. Gyrotonics is very circular movements, and I find that there's a lot of that in Swan Lake. There's contortioning of your shoulders to do these swan movements. My shoulders don't go like that. So in order to understand how to connect my body with my torso, and I felt that the gyrotonics helped me a lot. And it was also an internal thing, this energy, the 5 points of the star. And it's just like I felt like I had become this different dancer, different person artistically. And so I really dove into the character, and I wanted to become that swan. So that's what.
That's fantastic. Where were you in your career at SFB when you?
So I was a principal at that time. I mean, I feel like Swan Lake is one of the hardest, most challenging roles I've ever danced. Just especially the White Swan. This role is just, the second act Adagio is very just calm and beautiful, and her solo by herself is full of control and really just determination, and it's very slow. So you can't hide behind anything. Everything is exposed. And so having that control and that, like I say, internal, external relationship is what is needed for that. So I feel like, each individual swan can find their way, and the feeling with the partnership, or dancing with the four girls, their feeling together, the unison, and then the big swans, they're dancing together, and even the quarter ballet, just having that unison and just the arms and the head and all the movement together. It's really difficult. It's really takes time, patience, and working every day, hard work.
How many times have you performed Swan Lake at San Francisco?
Let's see. So, I would say 4 or 5 times. Not very many, because, we have a lot of casts, and Helgi wants to put all of his great dancers out there, and it's really understandable. The most important part of it is the process in the studio. So I feel that, you get this 1 show or 2 shows, but it's all about building up to that performance. So the rehearsal time is very important. And I feel like I've done it 100 times because of all the rehearsals.
All the rehearsals.
So,
how does your process, like, for the most recent time that you performed it, how does that process compare to that first time?
I think that I've evolved as a person and a dancer, and the way I interpret things. So maybe my focus is not on the technique so much as how I breathe with the movement or the music transporting me. Whereas when I was younger, it was all about the technique, in school, and but now, like I say, the interpretation is most important, and how the audience reacts to whether they get my story or are they moved. So, and I can tell as well how I feel with it. If it feels easier, then you're not working so hard, and it's actually the way it should be. If you're just working and it's like not working, it's something is just So I would say less is more,
Mm-hmm.
and not too many jerky movements, but like just subtle movements, because there's a lot of arm flapping, and if you do crazy too much, it's gonna look like a bird that's like out of control. But if you do it just soft and subtly,
Yeah.
and just always, um, flowing and moving, that's best. Less is more.
Less is more. All right. Um, so the ballet is known for being this very challenging work to perform.
Mm-hmm.
So what has been the most rewarding aspect of going through the process from start to finish for
Mm-hmm.
you?
I think the most rewarding for me is in a full length, the the culmination at the end, having done the interpretation of the white and the black swan, that feels so gratifying. But also, I think the second act for me is just the most beautiful in Swan Lake, and to perform it. And so when I finish the second act, I almost feel like, I did it, and it just felt so good, and the music is just so beautiful, and everybody knows it. Swan Lake, that music, they know that. Um, yeah, it's just something so inexplainable, but yet when you're on stage and you feel that, it's just like a wonderful experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, so our dancers are all young in high school, and this is their
Mm-hmm.
first time learning the piece. They've watched it either in person or online before, but this is their first time learning it and going through the rehearsal process and performing it in about a week and a half. So, what would you say to them as they're kind of in the final
Mm-hmm.
stretch?
I would say be patient with it. Every day is a new day, and there's going to be challenges and whatnot. But I would say with the corps de ballet to um, put your peripheral vision on, and like to watch your peers just really be in. It's almost like you breathe with them. You feel it. You breathe the same way they're going to breathe, and that's the way it's going to work, and just really being aware of your surroundings. And it's almost an energy thing as well, that you feel the energy, the aura of everybody. And then also the soloists, I would say, don't put too much expectation for the end result. Go in the process, live it, be in the movement, in the moment, and just dance your heart out, and really just like from the inside out, just really try and reach to the back of the theater, to the audience, with your energy, because and really think of length and long lines, so the energy is like shooting out, and enjoy it. Just really have fun, because
Yeah.
it's only the beginning.
Yeah.
You're so young, so you have time to perfect, but now it's just diving in. It's the first, it's like being vulnerable and just letting go, and enjoying the music and the movement and the stage, and because you have a long career ahead of you. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today. We really appreciate it,
Yeah,
Vanessa.
of course. Thank you
Yes.
for having me.